Forza Horizon 5. Probably the most polarizing racing game I've ever played. Oh, how naive I was back then. Forza Motorsport finally released this year on October 10th after 6 years of development. And Jesus Christ, it is quite tragic to say the least. With a 2-star rating on the Microsoft Store and mostly negative ratings on Steam, this is truly one of the games of all time. And why is that, you may ask? Well, in this video, I will proceed to list 100 things wrong with the game at a very fast pace. These could range from major bugs to crappy game design to obscure glitches to whatever I could find. Let's get right into this monstrosity. To start it off, in the career mode, there are no events with race cars, only with road cars. Pretty ironic in a motorsport game. This basically means that all of the race cars are useless outside of free play and online. The main menu is terrible. Instead of having little grids like FM7, there are these little columns that open up to smaller menus. I know it's subjective, but I think this design is garbage. This game has forced TAA or temporal anti-aliasing on PC. While most AAA games have forced TAA, it would be nice if we had the option for other anti-aliasing methods, simply because we don't want to be looking at smeared Vaseline, especially in racing games. This game is horrendously single-threaded, leading to crappy optimization on PC. The career mode is online only for whatever reason. Despite the gameplay being great on gamepads, sim racing wheel gameplay is pretty bad. There's a video by Jimmy Broadbent that goes into detail about this a bit more. Video in the description, by the way. This could be due to console limitations, but texture quality on the Series X is actually worse than the low quality settings on PC. In the span of 6 years of development, only a single car has been remodeled. Hood reflections are bugged when using higher FOV values. For some players on a PC, the track can disappear and reappear. You cannot change fuel consumption and tire wear rates in advanced event setups. Share codes, one of the best features from the Horizon series, are not present in this game. There are no endurance races in the career mode. There are also no special events in the career mode like those Top Gear or Ken Block showcase missions in FM7. There is no Nordschleife in the game. While the developers did confirm that this track would come back, it's pretty to not include one of the most legendary tracks of all time in the game. The meta car in Forza GT Hopper multiplayer races, the Audi R8 LMS GT3, is locked behind the DLC. The Allow Custom Liveries button on the free play advanced event setups menu does not work. This is subjective, but the new upgrade system is terrible. While they did lower the upgrade unlock levels, it still feels pretty grindy. The 1993 Ford SVT Cobra R gauge needles are clipping outside the instrument cluster. The V8 supercars are in the Forza GT class for some damn reason. The car list is significantly less than FM7's, featuring about 500 cars. The dynamic render quality changes the output resolution while also changing the in-game graphics settings for some reason. I have no idea why Turn 10 decided that was a great idea. DLSS on Nvidia graphics cards simply doesn't work. It barely gives any performance improvements. The trailer of the game in June 2022 features much more impressive graphics than what we are given. You cannot see what other tires the other AI drivers are using in free play. In the career mode and multiplayer, you can't check it at the beginning of a race. There isn't a radar to check how close you are to other drivers. There are no public custom lobbies. There are some LOD issues. Distant trees can look absolutely terrible. The penalty system in multiplayer races are terrible. Another player can send you to the Shadow Realm, but you still get a 4-second penalty for getting rammed. This game is definitely not
built from the ground up. Built from the ground up.
Built from the ground up.
Built from the ground up for this generation.
The way the AI races in this game is so bipolar. The moment you overtake an AI, their pace slows down by like 15 seconds. The AI who starts in pole position or near the pole stays there until you have to play catch up. It just makes the racing so unfun. Even more on the AI, they have no spatial awareness. This might be personal to me and be really stupid, but I actually hope this game had a licensed soundtrack. It was just a trailer, but in June 2022, the trailer featured a remix of Public Service Announcement by Jay-Z. I thought it would be like Shift 2 Unleashed, where there would be remixed licensed songs to fit the theme of the game, but I guess not. Wheel spacers don't work correctly on cars. There are very few modern GT cars. I'm not expecting this game to be like Assetto Corsa Competizione or anything, but this is abysmal. You can murder your pit crew apparently. The game doesn't have anything close to what was shown in the 2020 teaser trailer. The Super Sedans series features a coupe on its cover. Good one, Turn 10. For whatever reason, the skip practice option is hidden behind the quit race option. The 2022 Subaru BRZ does not have a shift animation. The career mode is boring as hell. You do the same things every time, just with different cars. When upgrading the car, you cannot orbit the camera around the car. The skyboxes are taken from Forza Motorsport 7. Speaking of the skyboxes are the same in each race location. The new photo mode updates in Horizon 5 have not been implemented in the game. The ugly Forza wing is still here. Car models can look horrendous sometimes. An old speed glitch from FM7 is still in the game. This is totally built from the ground up. The game crashes a lot. The game has a washed out look to it. The curbs sound extremely loud compared to everything else. This could be realistic, but it's jarring in my opinion. Some car sounds are very unrealistic or are just awful. There are no drift events in the game, despite showcasing drift cars in the trailer. Oddly specific, but there is only an analog speedometer. In previous games, there were both analog and digital speedometers. There are no drag race events. On some cars, some wheel textures when moving at speeds can look awful. The game feels soulless as hell. The Nissan Silvia S15 still looks like hot garbage. There are a ton of infinite loading screens. The first upgrade unlocks are usually engine upgrades, which makes nearly every build during the career mode a power build. This game has the infamous curbs of death. If you don't know what that is, basically when going over curbs, it can really mess up your car. There are a ton of missing tracks. First, Monza is not in the game. Daytona is not in this game. Sorry NASCAR fans. Bathurst is not in this game. The fictional Bernese Alps tracks are not in this game. Hockenheimring is not in this game. Long Beach is not in this game. Road Atlanta is not in this game. Sebring is not in this game. Twin Ring is not in this game. Circuit of the Americas is not in this game. Sukaba is not in this game. The Rio tracks are also not in this game. And worst of all, Brands Hatch is not in this game. The replay mode is very interesting. Importing liveries from Forza Horizon 5 does not work. Car thumbnails may be incorrect after customizing the livery of a car. The black color in the game isn't very black for cars. You cannot change your starting position in free play events. You can cut T1 in the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course. This, of course, shaves off a ton of time from your lap times. The Bug-Eye Subaru WRX STI has a levitating badge. The remove wing option on the 2021 BMW M4 does the complete opposite. There are no seat adjustment settings. Safety rating apparently doesn't work. Many players that have high safety ratings still get sent to the Shadow Realm in multiplayer races. Whatever this is, the game is still locked to 30 FPS in certain menus, even in unlocked frame rates. Damage models are horrendous. There are multiple arguments against this, like licensing and the sheer amount of cars, but I'm just putting it out there. There are no drift tires, yet drift suspension. You cannot create races where you race in stints. When you load into Spa, your race engineer tells you about the track's renovations. However, this isn't reflected in the game itself.
The game's narration tells you that Spa-Francorchamps was recently resurfaced with new asphalt and should provide great grip. Yet, the track model itself doesn't visually represent any of the major structural changes made to it recently.
There are some car brands in the game's credits that are not actually in the game. The collision sounds are terrible. The little LEDs on the side of the dashboard of the Corvette C7R and some others do not work. In real life, those LEDs flash when any of the rear tires lose grip. I might be wrong, so correct me in the comments below, you nerds. Apparently, the C5 Corvette was made in 2009. There is no infected game mode, like in FM7. Lancia, Alfa Romeo, and other car brands under Stellantis are not in this game. This is actually not a licensing issue. Horizon 5 has these car brands. This is very controversial, but why did the developers spend so much time on the accessibility of this game? I feel like they should have spent more time on making this game actually playable. The rear wing on your car does not vibrate when moving at high speeds. Some lost attention to detail with that. Last but not least, the game's ray tracing is terrible. I find it hilarious how this was one of the most marketed points, but it ended up being under-delivered. Jeez, that was quite a lot, wasn't it? Fortunately, sometime during this month, a patch will be released which will quote-unquote fix over 200 bugs. But because of the sheer amount of lies that Turn 10 has stated in the past, I can't really trust the validity in that one. I think it's pretty clear to say that this game was definitely not built from the ground up. The only thing I wonder after completing this 4-page script is, what the hell was Turn 10 doing the entire 5 to 6 years of development? Anyway, until that update comes out, I'll just be playing the new WRC game, which by the way is actually really good. Review coming soon maybe. Well, that's it from me. If you want more, subscribe and like the video. See you later. Maybe.
Yeah.